Willpower. It's overrated. You know what? I started my first diet at age 14. And every diet that I have been on in the last 44 years has worked. Why? Because of willpower. But every diet I have been on in 44 years eventually failed. Why? Because of willpower. Right? Okay. Why? Every diet that I've ever tried was based on someone else's rules. They were not my rules, so they required willpower. And sometimes I could keep that willpower up for years at a time, and sometimes not. So, what's the big deal? The big deal is if you're relying on willpower to follow someone else's rules, which are not intuitive to you, you will eventually fail. So the big thing is someone else's rules of fat loss are not necessarily going to work for you. And when you try to pigeonhole them in, eventually there will be failure. And it's not the kind of failure you want to learn from. You want to be done with that, because what's going to happen is, and I did it for 44 years. I just keep trying a new diet. Well, let's try this. We did low fat, we did high fat, we did low carb, we did high carb, I did paleo, I did gluten-free. And you know what? Again, they were all okay, but they weren't the best. What kind of diets have you done that you didn't think worked eventually? Right? Did you try them? Did they last for a year, 5 years, 12 weeks, 6 weeks, 21-day detoxes? Yeah, they're all going to give you results, but they're also going to tie into a brain drain. You know what? And in this world, we need our brains. If you're having trouble with traffic, if you're having stress at work, you need willpower for your game face, for other important things of life. But what you put into your mouth should not require, at least I don't believe so, excessive willpower for years on end. So, what you can do is make your own rules. And when you make your own rules, you start by looking inward. What is your internal motivation for wanting to be healthy? 100% of the women I coach tell me they want to be healthy as an example to their offspring, to their nieces, to their nephews, children. They want to be able to enjoy grandchildren. They don't want to be a slave to having diseases like poor joints from too much weight, diabetes, heart disease. So we talk about making your own rules. Do you like pizza? Well, then maybe you don't want to be on a gluten-free diet. But when you go inward and find your rules, you actually will find a newfound freedom, and you're going to get rid of that food anxiety. But what's more important is you'll gain responsibility. So one of my inward things is I don't want to be following a diet. And so inwardly, I look at that and I want to be healthy. I want all the things that everybody wants to be healthy. But because I don't want to follow a diet, I have minimal rules that I follow and choices, but it's not restrictive, but I have this internal sense of responsibility. So I might want to have a whole bunch of chocolate, but the responsible me says, if you do that, then maybe you're going to want that sugar all the time. Trust me. I've been there, I've done it. And so maybe I'm just going to stop at a responsible amount and make sure, like one of my rules is never go to bed overstuffed. So, but I encourage you to talk about what rules you like. Put some in the comments below. Make some suggestions. But think about it and think about your internal purpose. And my goal is to have all women who are approaching midlife and over get off the diet yo-yo wave and get into a nice, responsible way of living with their own rules and their own parameters. So I invite you to think about it and see what you come up with.